Долане в своем вступительном слове речь идет о испытании крылатой ракеты неограниченной дальности «Буревестник» с ядерной энергетической установкой.
"15 full hours, a continuous flight over sealed oceans, empty polar regions, and airspaces NATO considered untouchable for decades. A mysterious object launched from Russia's far north and vanished into nuclear mist. No launch flash, no signal, not even a thermal trace. But as the hours passed, American tracking stations began receiving delayed reports, fragmented heat signatures, appearing in the far north and disappearing, then returning. Something was flying at hypersonic speed, bypassing all known defenses and continuing its journey without landing or detonating. When the intel reached Trump, his first question in the war room was, "How long has it been in the air?" The answer was chilling, over 15 hours and still going. At that moment, the question wasn't what the weapon was, but rather, how did it pass undetected and where will it end? Even NATO, used to interpreting every Russian move, stayed silent because what happened that night was beyond military calculations and outside the limits of traditional intelligence. So what did Russia test that night? And what was that thing that flew for hours through the skies without stopping? Stay with us until the end, because the answers might reveal a weapon the world has never seen before. The invisible engine of destruction, Skyfall under the microscope. Skyfall isn't just a cruise missile. It's an extreme engineering marvel, designed by Russia to defy nearly every known law of missile physics. Roughly 12 meters in length, with a diameter of 94 centimeters and an estimated weight of 8 tons. But Skyfall's real power doesn't lie in its size or speed. It lies in the engine it carries within. This is no ordinary propulsion system. Skyfall is powered by a miniature nuclear reactor using a rare method known as direct cycle nuclear thermal propulsion. Air is drawn in at the missile's front at tremendous speeds, then funneled into the reactor core, where it is superheated by a live nuclear core. No chemical fuel required. The air then blasts out of the rear nozzle in a terrifying shockwave, creating sustained hypersonic thrust and allowing Skyfall to fly for hundreds of hours without stopping. This nuclear propulsion tech eliminates the need for conventional fuel tanks and gives Skyfall virtually unlimited range, even the theoretical to circle the globe more than once before choosing a target. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the missile's speed ranges between 9 to 20 Mach, over 20,000 kilometers per hour. But Skyfall's secret isn't just its engine. It's also in the way it's shaped. Russian engineers designed the missile with a bullet-like aerodynamic frame, stretched horizontally to optimize airflow into the reactor and reduce atmospheric drag to the lowest possible level. The materials used? An advanced composite of silicon sand, carbon fibers, and rare aerospace metals, allowing the structure to withstand temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius during hypersonic flight. But the most terrifying effect is the plasma cloud. Skyfall's extreme velocity generates a dense thermal sheath filled with charged particles known scientifically as a plasma envelope. This fiery cloak completely envelops the missile and scrambles radar signals, preventing them from bouncing back to ground-based receivers. Instead of appearing clearly on radar, Skyfall shows up as a fleeting flash, then vanishes. With this tech, the missile becomes a true ghost in the sky, invisible and silent, and utterly unpredictable. Interception becomes impossible, even for the most advanced air defense systems in the world. A warhead that can vaporize a city. Skyfall's nuclear payload. If Skyfall's speed and stealth make it a nightmare for tracking systems, its payload makes it a nightmare for entire cities. This missile is built to carry a massive 800-kilogram warhead, with options including a high-yield thermonuclear device, a powerful conventional explosive, or even a chemical charge for surgical strikes. But the most terrifying variant is a 500-kiloton nuclear warhead, over 33 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. This warhead can vaporize everything within several kilometers of impact: buildings, humans, even fortified concrete structures. The initial fireball is followed by a devastating shockwave and a radioactive cloud that renders the area uninhabitable for decades. Some reports also suggest Skyfall could be fitted with MIRV, multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, allowing it to deliver multiple nuclear warheads simultaneously across separate targets, making interception virtually impossible. How does Skyfall strike with such precision? Hitting a distant target after flying thousands of kilometers sounds impossible, but Skyfall was built to defy expectations. It relies on a tri-layered guidance system working in perfect sync, designed to turn the missile into a precision strike instrument, at least according to Russian claims. First, it uses an inertial navigation system INS to track its position autonomously from the moment of launch, no external signal needed. Second, it taps into Russia's GLONASS satellite network, constantly updating coordinates in real time. All of this is backed by a Link 22 military data link, giving Russian commanders real-time communication with the missile, even mid-flight. Moscow claims a targeting error margin of just 1 meter, a claim that raised eyebrows in the West. But if true, Skyfall wouldn't even need a nuclear payload to be lethal. The dark side, a flying curse. Even the deadliest weapons carry hidden flaws, and for all its terrifying hype, Skyfall hides some critical dangers, enough to turn it from a tool of deterrence into an unpredictable airborne disaster. Across more than 13 documented tests, Russia has achieved only 1 or 2 partial successes. Most attempts ended in failure, engine instability, launch malfunctions, or the missile simply plunging into the sea. One test in 2019 caused a nuclear radiation leak near Severodvinsk, following an explosion suspected to involve Skyfall, an incident Moscow downplayed, but one that was closely monitored by US satellites detecting radioactive traces in the atmosphere. But the greatest risk of all, Skyfall cannot be stopped, not even by its creators. If it loses guidance or communication, it keeps flying, powered by a nuclear engine that doesn't run out, drifting over international borders, or worse, over Russian territory itself, with no target and no way to bring it down without risking a nuclear blast or a catastrophic radiation leak. At that point, Skyfall stops being a strategic weapon and becomes a flying time bomb. As for its so-called stealth, Western analysts believe that despite the plasma cloak, its nuclear reactor might leave behind a faint radioactive trail, detectable with specialized sensors. In other words, the ghost leaves a scent, a nuclear one. Moscow insists the missile is undetectable and unstoppable. But every minute it stays airborne gives adversaries more time to track, study, and eventually counter it. So the question remains, dear viewer, is the Skyfall missile truly the crown jewel of Russia's nuclear deterrence? A weapon no nation dares to challenge? Or is it a nuclear beast unleashed too soon and its fate still unknown? Tell us in the comments.